Hello, beautiful souls. I want to talk to you today about the power of our words and how powerful we are when we make commitment to spirit guides, different spirits, luases, orishas. It could be Jesus, it could be whoever. When we make that commitment, this is a lifelong commitment for the most part. Normally, the commitment we make when we're in desperation, when we are so desperate that we want to commit to something in exchange for something, right? And the reason why I mentioned Jesus, and I have to clarify this, or any ascended master, is because it is a contract. Even though you make it to an ascended master, it's still a contract. And if you don't complete your contract, that means you have no integrity. And when you're working with different spirits, depending on the type of spirits that you're working with, depending on the type of force that they bring with them, you could be making a commitment that can complicate a lot of things for you. When we use our, we have such a powerful, we are so powerful. When we use the power of our words, when we say things, we're using that power, whether we use it for positive or negative, and whether we commit or don't do what we committed ourselves to when we are in that moment of desperation where, I promise I'm going to do this, and I promise I'm going to put candles, and I promise I'm going to go to the cemetery and put flowers for the spirits that don't have anyone to take care of them, or I promise that I'm going to be a good person, and then next month you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing to be a good person because you're lying, because you're stealing, because you're doing what you know is not being the right person, whatever it may be. For example, if you're working with a spirit guide that comes with a lot of energy, a lot of fire energy, or it could be water, it doesn't matter what element. Obviously the fire is a little more, more strong in terms of how fiery they can get with everything, right? But it doesn't matter the element. If the spirit comes, when you make that commitment to the spirit, and you're making that commitment to a spirit guide without knowing really how to work with them, without really getting to know them, without really understanding their mission, their purpose, you're creating a commitment with someone that you really don't know. It's almost like signing a contract. Let's say, for example, I want to go buy a house. I sign the papers, but I haven't seen the house. And then I get to the house. It's like, whoa, this is not what I want. Well, it's too late because I already signed. And it's not like you can put a clause, oh, well, I'm going to take care of you only if, because then they're not going to do anything for you. So it really becomes a complicated situation where you really have to know who you're working with before you verbally sign the contract. And I have seen in quantum healing people that have from past generations where they have done verbal contracts, and therefore because they didn't do their part, they actually ended up creating a curse for the family. And it becomes an energetic curse. It's not like someone actually cursed you. It's actually your ancestors doing something that they said they were going to do that they didn't do, and the energy gets intermingled like this, and it becomes almost like very complicated spider web, and you have no idea why things are happening to your life. And it could be something that your ancestors did, and if you do something like this, it could be something that your descendants are going to go through, and they have no idea why. And it's because you made a commitment to do something that you never completed, that you never put action into it. And the reason why this is coming up is because a lot of people don't understand how powerful the words that we use, the words that we think and say, whether we say it internally or out externally, is powerful things. Like, we really do have to be careful how we talk about other people, how we talk about ourselves, what we think about ourselves, what we think of other people, because you're creating energy. And people, believe it or not, they might not know it because they might not have the power to feel that energy, but their soul can feel it. And that's why sometimes you feel a push and pull towards certain people. If they're talking nice about you, or if they really like you, you feel that pull. Sometimes you feel that push because you know something is off, but you don't know, because your soul, your higher self picks it up. And it's because of the things that we're thinking and saying, whether we say it externally or not, that's another story. But when you're working directly with a spirit guide, I don't know, let's say you're working with a spirit guide, like any of the spirit guides, most of them have more than one path. It's not just I had a revelation where we have the spirits of the light, spirits of the darkness, and they are twins, and they're just like the opposite of each other. So you could have a spirit guide, I don't know, like like a spirit guide that is of the light, and this Archangel Michael has a demon that is the brother, and is right here on the left side, and they're like the same, except that one went to the left, one went to the right, and it's created by source. Both of them are created by source, but they serve different purposes. Their mission are differently. This one is to bring protection and all of this energy of the source, and then this one is to make sure that you are tested with the tribulations of life, so that you have to decide which one you work with, which one you do what you do with, and hopefully you pick the right. But this one is a tester. Like, this one is going to test you to make sure that you know that you need to pick this one. And if you don't know any better and you pick this one because it might seem more tempting, then you have to come back and do it again until you pick this one. So it's, it becomes like a play, like a movie, like every, a simulation. Every time you do something that you shouldn't be doing, you end again, you die, you transition, and then you have to come back and say, wow, I didn't really do that the way that it was supposed to be, so now I have to go back and do it again. So these light beings, these energy beings that are spiritual guides, archangels, loases, orishas, ascended master, whatever, they always tend to have the equivalent on the left, on the left side. So these on the left sides are testing you to make sure that you know what to pick, that you make the right path. But sometimes you get so tempted because they know how to trick you. So you have to be very discerning of energy, very discerning of yourself and energy, in order for you to know that you have to pick the right one. I think that's the best way that I can explain it right now. But the reason why I wanted to do this video is because it's so important for us to recognize the power of our words, the things that we say, the promises that we make in those moments of desperation that really ties you down to a specific energy, whether it's this one or this one. If this one is the one, there's no problem. But if it's the left one, then you have now created a contract with an energy that you don't fully understand, that can tie you down for multi-generations because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And then you have to figure out how to break that. And sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do unless you get help. So, before you actually have to go and get help, it's better if you just really understand the energy that you're committing yourself to a specific ceremony, whether it is once a year, once a month, once a week, or every day. And in those moments of desperation, we are so like, please, 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 please. And then 2 months later, when everything is fine and things work out, you don't even know if it was your spirit guide or if it was your spirit guide, how they did it, what needed to be done. And next thing you know, now you have to pay something for a lifetime because you made a promise that you shouldn't probably have done without understanding fully the energy that you're working with. And that brings so much complications. I just wanted to put this out there for those, I know a lot of people talk about, should I work with this spirit guide? Should I work with X spirit guide? And they have no idea. They just know the basics. They haven't taken the time to really properly work with a spirit guide by working in the dreams, by meditating about this energy, by asking the right questions in the quantum field. If you have a padrino, padrina, godmother, godfather, priest, priestess that But even then, you still have to do your own work. You cannot just rely on what other people tell you. You do I'm sorry, but you do have to do your own work, because otherwise the same energy that works with your godfather, godmother, sometimes it's not the same energy that comes to you, because it depends on the life path that you have for this life. And it's very convoluted. It's not an easy answer. The same energy that works with one spirit guide might be the same name. They might recognize it the same name, but they might come with a different purpose for you. So you do have to do your part. You have to meditate. You have to ask the right questions. You have to go through the quantum field. You have to go to the Akashic records. If you know how to do that, but with meditation, before you go to sleep, you can ask the questions. And when you feel really confident, only then and I just don't, I have a big problem, because even then I will work with the spirit, but that doesn't mean that I'm committing myself for a lifetime or for multi-generational. That's very complicated. Like I'm getting goosebumps right now. Like, please don't make any promises. You can work with any spirit that you want, but if you make a promise, you have to accomplish. You have to complete that promise, and if you don't, things can really go sideways. And it's just, I'm like, wow, please don't. Take it for what it is. Do your own work, do your own research, meditate on yourself, meditate by yourself, meditate, go to sleep, and ask the right questions so you can avoid lifelong commitments, because once you make that commitment, you cannot break it that easily. I'm gonna leave it here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.